I'm Linda Egnatz. I'm the Executive Director for the Global Seal of Biliteracy. And we've heard that lots of you would like to know more about Halloween and how it's celebrated in the United States. So let's learn a little bit about this unusual holiday. Halloween is always on October 31st. The origin of Halloween goes back over 2,000 years ago to the Celts, a group of people who lived in what is now Great Britain, Ireland, and parts of France. The Celts began their new year on November 1st. The night before, they would celebrate with bonfires at a festival called Samhain. And Samhain celebrated the harvest and the start of winter because the days would grow short and there wasn't as much light. Now, the Celts believed that ghosts would come out at this time, and so they wore masks to disguise themselves and hide from the ghosts. They also put out food for the ghosts so that they wouldn't be angry. Well, later, Catholics would make November 1st All Saints' Day, which is also known as All Hallows' Day. And so that night before, October 31st, became known as All Hallows' Eve, and then was just shortened to Halloween. So how is Halloween celebrated in the United States? Well, not everyone celebrates it. In fact, a lot of people choose not to celebrate it because they associate it maybe with scary things or even with evil or evil spirits. But many people join in as a fun holiday, and that's what we're going to talk about. So those families who do celebrate Halloween decorate their house with pumpkins, skeletons, spiders, vampires, witches, anything that would be considered a little bit scary. And skeletons are everywhere. And this is some of my neighbors do this where they actually take these sort of skeletons and they position them on their houses as if they're climbing in or climbing out or trying to break in. Something new in the United States with Halloween because of all of the people of Mexican descent who live here in the United States are sugar skulls or calaveras. Skeletons that are dressed up, and then these brightly painted, decorated sugar skulls that are actually made out of molded sugar. But you'll also see these sugar skull designs on lots of other kinds of things. This is associated with the Mexican holiday of Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. Well, I'm in Illinois. In fact, I'm in very close to the large city of Illinois called Chicago. And you'll see Illinois here on the map of the United States. It's pretty much right in the middle. And we're famous because the state of Illinois grows the most pumpkins of any other state in the world. Although, once again, a little bit of Mexico comes in because pumpkins originated in Mexico. Well, we have pumpkin farms everywhere in Illinois. And so there's lots of activities in the fall time, especially around Halloween. So some of those activities might be going to a pumpkin farm where you might just pick out your pumpkin. But lots of farms and lots of pumpkin patches make some additional money by offering additional fun, including a maze with corn stalks where you could totally get lost if you don't follow the paths, or a hayride. A hayride is when a tractor pulls a wagon, usually piled on with hay to make a soft seat, and it might drive you out through the yard to the pumpkin patch, or it might just take you around in a circle, but it's lots of fun. Something that's at a pumpkin patch near my house where my family likes to go is this pumpkin launcher, or kind of like a catapult. And they actually use it to put a pumpkin on there and see how far it flies and how big it crashes and splats and makes sort of an explosion when it drops. There's also fun as well as scary attractions. So my pumpkin farm has these fun musical skeletons that actually move and sing and play music. And they have pig races. There's attractions and rides. There's usually a petting zoo with lots of little animals. But some people prefer scary fun. And so those people probably would like to go to a haunted mansion or a haunted house. And some of these are just for older children or adults because they really are scary and gory and gruesome, and there's lots of blood and monsters and other things that will frighten you. But some places will have a sort of a little haunted house that's a little less scary, maybe for children. So you have to think about, what do you like? Do you like scary or do you just like fun? I kind of just like fun. Another thing that people will go to the pumpkin patch for is to pick out their own pumpkin. Now, we can buy pumpkins at the store or at a farm stand along the side of the road where a farmer might be selling their pumpkins. But it's kind of fun to go to a pumpkin patch and pick out your own pumpkin. And so lots of people will choose to do that. And once they have their pumpkin, they'll take it home and they may choose to carve it. So pumpkin carving is kind of popular. It takes a little bit of skill, but almost anyone can do it. You can just decorate your pumpkin with markers, with colored markers, and draw a face, or you can choose to draw a face and then very carefully open up the top of the pumpkin and hollow it out. There's lots of seeds and sort of stringy goo in there. You can take that out. And then carve your pumpkin and maybe give it a face. And when a pumpkin has a face, we call it a jack-o'-lantern. And this also comes from Great Britain and Ireland's history, where in Ireland there was a legend about a man named Jack who wandered the countryside carrying a lantern or a candle light. Well, people in Ireland at this time would carve scary faces into turnips or potatoes, maybe to scare away Jack. Well, when the Halloween tradition of the jack-o'-lantern came to North America, pumpkins were pretty plentiful. We had lots of them, especially in October. And so they are easier to carve than turnips and are bigger, and they became more popular. So we don't carve pumpkins, or excuse me, we don't carve turnips here, just pumpkins. There's lots of snacks and sweets and treats that are associated with Halloween. And so I put a few pictures here so you get an idea of what children and families would like to eat at this time of year. On the left is popcorn balls, where popcorn is kind of stuck together with some syrupy sweetness and put into a ball shape. Pumpkin, lots of things pumpkin. Pumpkin cookies, pumpkin muffins, pumpkin scones, and my favorite, pumpkin pie, especially when it's served with whipped cream. There's candy corn. This is not corn at all. It's just made to look a little bit like corn, but it is just candy. Cookies in the shape of pumpkins or leaves, or even spiders or ghosts. We like to take apples and dip them into caramel and then maybe into peanuts or to M&Ms or to some other kind of nut. So those are called carameled apples. Then, of course, there's just M&Ms or other kinds of Reese's Pieces, which are a peanut butter and chocolate candy. Those are real popular, as are gummy pumpkins, like a gummy worm or a gummy bear. But in this case, these are shaped like pumpkins. And cupcakes, again, we can decorate them with lots of different scary shapes, or the new kind of popular now, because again of the same time of year that the Day of the Dead in Mexico is celebrated, we'll see sugar cookie skulls as well. So the next part about Halloween is, so now we have our house decorated and you've carved your pumpkin, it's time to think about trick or treat. And to go trick or treating, it's traditional to wear a costume. So a costume can be anything you want it to be. It could be a character from a movie. It could be a ketchup and mustard bottle. It could be crayons. It could be a famous person from history. It could be someone scary. It can be anything, a robot, an animal, whatever it is you want to be. And you can make your own costume or you can buy one. And there are lots of different options. And these are just kind of a few that I picked out to share. So that would be the next question. If you were here celebrating, what would you do? Would you buy or make your own costume? And then you've got your costume on. You have a bucket or a bowl or a bag. You need something to put your treats in. And then you go trick or treating. So trick or treat is what you say when you knock on the door of a neighbor's house, and hopefully they're prepared. So something that we do in the United States for this event is if you are home and you have candy or a treat or a goodie to pass out to students or to children who are trick-or-treating, then you turn your porch light on because it will be dark. It's the trick-or-treating usually takes place in the evening time. And so I'll turn my porch light on and they will know that I'm home and I have goodies to share. If my porch light isn't on, then they would just go to the next house. And so in my neighborhood, we have about 200 children or teenagers who would come and knock on my door and say, trick or treat. And then I will give them some candy, put the candy in their bag or in their little pumpkin, and then off they go to the next house. And of course, children are really excited about, getting and collecting lots of candy. So some parents, don't want them to eat too much candy or get them sick all at once. Not everyone gives out candy. I mean, we have children who might be diabetic or allergic. So sometimes you'll see pencils, maybe Play-Doh, or some other small toy could also be given. Another thing that maybe teenagers would like to do, or even adults, and probably some children, especially those who like scary things, they might want to watch a Halloween movie. And there are lots of different ones, and these are just a few that maybe you've heard about or you might be interested in seeing. And so a scary movie might be something that they might do after they come home from trick-or-treating and they still want to sort of be in the mood to celebrate this very scary holiday. And so with that, I will close this little session and ask you, maybe if you were going to celebrate Halloween, what costume would you choose?